Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Shadow and Bone Season 2, Episode 2, Rusalye. I can't pronounce words that are not in English. I'm sorry, I suck. I loved the first episode of this season. I loved the first season of this show. I am excited to see these wonderful characters shine again. A reminder that, as always, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go.
I'm not handing you over to the Fiends.
You're not?
Saints, no. Sorry, is it offensive to say that in the presence of a living saint?
Just cut to the chase. You know why they think what they think.
What do you want with us then? With you? Nothing.
Like that she's kind of standing between him and the guy with the gun.
The Sons, the First Army, have now turned their sights on Grisha. Thanks to what you and your conspirator did in the fold.
The Darkling and I were not partners.
He needs to sound her out, see what she's
You
like,
may
who
believe
she's loyal
otherwise,
to.
but once I tear down the fold and reunite Ravka, the world will see I am not his ally. Help us.
The growing understanding of your unique situation.
You're not using that to your own ends at all, are you?
There are no others like us.
That doesn't mean she wants to be with you.
Understand there never will be.
I do also love that we're going to get to see what he's up to, because obviously in the books you're so with Alina.
You're a shadow monster. Thank you.
My Nichevoya.
Thank you, Nichevoya.
And they are with me always.
That is a word that I could never pronounce. Yes, genuinely, this is not the side of right. Just because people are mistreating you does not mean he is right. Genya. You had traded one cage for another. The cage he put you in the first place, the first one.
And the right friends.
I thought you were getting
This is a very important backstory.
Look at where we are. Blowing up the Crow Club.
Pekka is very personal for
What
him.
else is wanting to destroy? Is this place still serving breakfast?
I love you,
Yes.
Nina.
Why not just hire me to kill him? Or why hire me at all? Your sharpshooter or your wraith would take him out. Easy.
How do you feel, boy?
It's not enough to kill him.
This is very personal. And you're bringing all of them in on it too.
All of that in mind, I mean, Inej and I need to know the plan.
Yes, I too would like to know the plan.
You look so tough. I love that so much.
Excuse me, but I have a delivery and I can't read the directions. Ta-da.
I like having her around.
Everyone
I
does.
like truth.
This one prefers to just let us fester forever.
He is not your enemy.
Then you must make this system remember.
Our God will forgive you and guide you, Matthias, no matter what.
He's been breaking away from that because he saw the truth. Though I don't know how much their God and religion actually tells them to do what he was raised to do.
He has both Otkazatsia and Grisha on his crew.
First or second army, just
Equals. Imagine if our camps run at this first and second army together.
the food would taste much better.
That's how it should be.
Let me introduce you to our navigators. What did you say your name was again?
I suspect your issues are a consequence of creating those shadow monsters. No judgment from me, of course. They say it's.
I've heard this story before. Lydia.
Yes. And you keep repeating it. You don't learn. Stable maniac.
We leave in 10.
No,
She wants to know what this is all
not
about.
until you tell me what happened between you and Pekka. Trust is the other side of secrecy, Kaz. Remember that.
I think it's time we give him proper consideration.
You're underestimating him. You do have all the resources, and that is very scary.
It's because you're a symbol. You're not just sunshine. You're hope for the future.
She's thinking they were stood very close together.
She's
She's still not saying he's still not using his name.
I just have to know where to look. So we're going quietly. I'm Miss
Not a show off at all.
For your death blow.
I'm not killing her.
You have.
The other thing.
Are you sure?
Don't doubt me, woman.
Hello, Mother.
Oh my god.
Conserve your ammo, or we'll be dry by the time we need it.
Alina, time to make your connection if you can. We may have a lot of weapons, Mr. Seawit, but we actually don't mean you particular harm. Well, so much for not a killing blow.
It's dead.
I know that you're not thrilled about being paired with me. But you should know that you can trust me.
To be clear, I trust you because Kaz trusts you.
And you trust Kaz.
Eyes on the road, sir.
With a total stranger. Eyes on Pecker's driver.
Have they met before? This is very different, so I don't know.
Fine night, ain't it, Brecker?
He knew what he'd do.
You've already cost me enough money by blowing up my club.
It's my club.
My club.
Inej may not have been expecting you, but she's still an Inej. Oh lord. It's like, yep, through the hole. Oh god. This guy is insane. I have such faith in these characters, but this is not the story I know. And then he's never going back to the fucking menagerie, so we're getting this bitch. Want an edge? Fucking hell.
Wait, we have met before, haven't we?
Yes, but
And you brought me street waffles.
you remember that now.
Just was like, I got this, don't worry. Come on, Jesper. How many men Pecker was willing to sacrifice? Because Henrietta was the real plan. Fuck, Jesper. Well, fuck.
Sweet Brecker.
Everything is fucking stressful!
All that'll be left. I'm gonna sleep well. Outlander.
Meet the newest member of my crew.
Sleep well then.
Holy shit! Kaz, this is not going to plan! Maybe because it was a hasty plan. All the distraction and edge needed. Wyler! Okay, team! There's my boy. Jesper. That's my boys.
Outlander.
That's scary when you catch me.
Do not underestimate Nina, she is trained. Kaz is nothing if not determined and relentless. Do not underestimate him.
This won't end well, Kaz.
No.
They are all in danger because of your vendetta. You
But aren't
should
we the
tell
one who ends
them.
it?
But I know why you are you.
It's for the crew lost today. Let the sea carry them to a safe harbor.
See, like Pekka Rollins, that mission,
May the
he
saints receive them
required
on a
several of
brighter
his men to die. Like, Jesper was always going to manage to kill some.
May the saints receive them.
But this type of leader who genuinely feels the loss of his crew. It is such a shame when the consequences of your own actions come back to bite you. It just fancied him. There's definitely nothing, no bigger meaning to that. There's our girl. Control it, master it. Don't burn the boat down. Do not lose yourself to the power, but do embrace it.
Well then, where to now, Summer?
You're alive. Such power. You've grown stronger.
She has. She
My
doesn't know
Alina.
you're alive yet. She's not yours, you creep. I'm not going to go on again about, like, I can't, my brain is just stuck in the loop of, like, seeing my wonderful crows running around in a whole new plotline that has links to the other plotline, but is ultimately its own. I do feel very sorry for Matthias struggling away in prison. Like, are we going to get him out this season, or is that going to be left till a later season where they actually cover the Six of Crows plotline? Because, I mean, it's not a spoiler alert that in the Six of Crows they get him out of prison, but it wouldn't, I don't think, change the plot of that a crazy amount if they got him out sooner. But then I suppose why would he stay with them, whereas, like, there's reasonings behind it in that. And I completely do not blame him for being furious with Nina, for blaming her, for thinking she intentionally misled him the entire time. All of those feelings he's going through are completely valid. And given he was raised to hate all Grisha and think they were evil, horrible, nasty, seductress, if they got the chance, you know, like, they would corrupt you, temptationous, evil people. And then he met her, realised she wasn't like that, fell for her, gave himself to her, and then she got him arrested for being a slaver. Of course he's going to think that it was all part of an evil Grisha plan. So I don't blame him for thinking that. It breaks my heart that he thinks that, but I don't blame him. In the same way that I don't blame her for doing it. She was desperate. She couldn't think of any other way to get him out of death danger. And so, because she also had seen that he was more than how he was raised, that there was a good man in there, just a brainwashed man. And if we could save him from that and keep him being the person he was becoming, it would be so much better. So there's a lot going on there, and she is trying to do everything she can to get him out of the situation she got him into, and for that I respect her immensely. I mean, if I didn't already love Nina Zenik, I would respect her immensely for that even more, but I do already love her, so words aren't making sense. Kaz is one of those characters that, it's funny, when I read the books, in some ways he was one of my least favourite crows, and I want to preface that by saying I adore the crows, so, like, my least favourite crow is still a deeply loved character, just because he was the way he is, and the fact that, like, he has this rivalry and this kind of his plans where the others will risk their lives for them and he doesn't always tell them the things, and it's frustrating. But obviously I don't actually dislike him because I understand what made him that way, what shaped him. We're getting glimpses of that in the show as well, finally, which I love. And I also think that it's good that Inej and Jasper in particular, because they know him the most, are being like, look, tell us, we're risking our lives for you, tell us why. Nina is not, you know, even Nina is being like, I mean, Wylan crossed his arms. Wylan was ready. They want to know why they trust him enough, or they need him enough, different people in different positions, to go along with this plan, but he does owe them some kind of an explanation. But Kaz is not someone who is vulnerable. The last time he was vulnerable, a lot of stuff went wrong. He doesn't let himself be vulnerable, even though right now, I think if he were to tell the truth, especially at the very least to Inej and Jesper, who he surely trusts, most of the way at least, if he were to tell them the truth, it would only help him going forwards, help him process everything, help him make decisions. They could help him see, well, actually, no, this plan is only because you rashly want revenge, whereas this plan is actually like, it will help you get your revenge, but it's a sensible plan. You know, there's a lot of different layers there, but he's Kaz and we love him. You know, like I said, like him least of the crows. I mean, Matthias, when he's being all like, I am Theoden and I hate the Grisha, was tied. But I ideally love him and I do love, like, I don't dislike any of them. Don't come for me. I love Kaz dearly, just the least of them, but also more than many other people in the world. We also Wylan and Jesper. Now Wylan and Jesper have met, and he brought him, like, have they met like in a way that would leave an impact already in the show, because that is very different to the book. But regardless, I am very excited. Just anytime they're on screen together, I find their dynamics so fascinating to watch. I love Wylan so much. I love that he is not a natural born fighter. He doesn't have the training or the life upbringing or anything that would make him, because he was just working in a tannery. That's where he comes from. But when he's not helpless, he had the stuff to throw. Like he's not going to be the best in a fight, but he's also not going to be like me in a fight, because me in a fight would be like, help me, someone save me. I love that so much. And like little like Jesper bending the metal, and Wylan clocked that, but just there was no time to deal with it. There's just so many interesting dynamics going on. We have Inej and this madman who's gonna, I guess, continue to be on Pekka's payroll and try and come after her. Honestly, like, what they want to kill everybody else, and they want to send Inej back to be a sex slave. Like, what they want for her is 1,000 times worse than anything else. If you didn't already know that they were the bad guys, you would know they were the bad guys. I ultimately obviously knew Inej would not die in that fight, and I didn't think she would be taken back in that. But it's hard to watch those scenes. As a crew, they were thoroughly taken off guard. Yes, they managed to come out on top, but barely. If that guy's wild shot had hit Nina in her heart, that would be a dead heart render. If the man hadn't toyed with Inej, if he had decided, oh fuck Pekka, I'm gonna kill her, she would be dead. If the guy who grabbed Wylan had just shot him or stabbed him instead of choking him or whatever, I presume to use as leverage if he needed to against Jesper, he would be dead. You know, they all could have died very easily, and it was partly because Kaz is just recklessly one-man planning. And yes, he is a phenomenal tactician and planner. You know, I would trust his plan, but I feel like sometimes he needs to slow down ever so slightly and let them in. But neither of those things are things Kaz is very good at. Now, meeting Thingamajig, oh my god, going to the Dregs Club and meeting, I know that guy's name, very interesting. I wonder if we're going to see more of him going forwards, thinking about the books. I loved all the stuff in Ketterdam, but it was freaking stressful. But my crows are together, and I love every moment of it. Then if we go to the wonderful Stormond and Alina and Mal, I love that dynamic as well. They're bringing these characters to life so beautifully. I love the crew meeting Talia and Tamar, and I'm now like doubting that her name is Tamar. Like that, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but like that is her name. Brain fog, like my chronic fatigue syndrome. One of its symptoms is brain fog, and it fucks with my memory. And names is something that it really fucks with. So if I mean, I've read those books so many times. I'm very sorry if I'm misremembering her name. I adore her as a character, so I'll be pretty pissed if I am. I love seeing this crew come together, and I think one of my favourite things is seeing Alina being so confident. Yes, she's still, I mean, we know she's unsure of herself. I think if you're reading the book, you know that she's kind of acting a little bit more confident than she's maybe feeling right now. And obviously Stormond is able to look at her and say, you know, you've been betrayed before, and so you're not being trusting. But ultimately she was trusting. She told him she wanted the sea whip. She told him what she wanted it for. Mal was the tracker. You know, she did kind of let her guard down with the crew a little bit and trust these people. And I think that was because Stormond was kind of being honest back. He, you know, saying like, he seems very genuine. Now, maybe it's all a big deception. I don't know. I haven't read the books. But talking about how she's the hope for the future, and you know, she's more than just somebody who can stop the fold, that she is this bigger hope. There's a lot at play here, especially with Stormond, that we have yet to uncover, and I'm excited about it. But seeing them, I think in my memory in the book, the fight for the sea whip is at sea. It's not on an island, but I suppose this makes sense for, it's kind of that, oh my god, where's it coming from? Close quarters, terror, and probably less expensive to film, and it doesn't greatly change anything in the grand scheme of things. Then we have Mr. Darkling. Whoa, poor me. I just wanted power and to kill loads of people so I could keep power, and like to protect the Grisha so I could rule them. Oh, poor me. You know, he's struggling. He's making everyone around him struggle. I think Jenya is realizing bit by bit that she is not necessarily on the right side, but I also think right now, where else would she go? No one knows if Alina is alive. And even though she is alive, Alina hardly has an army at her side right now. The army itself, and no doubt the king. I mean, the king Jenny would never fucking trust ever. I mean, she never did trust, but she could hardly want to go back there. She is very much lost right now. I think a lot of Grisha will be feeling similarly. If the army is turning against them, then the Darkling is kind of their only option. So they could really do with another option to come along. And I really like the moment when Mal and Alina were looking at the ship and the crew and realizing that Grisha were working side by side with non-Grisha, and they were all treating each other with respect and equality, and that is possible. Like, yes, I can understand that. I mean, it was the Darkling, so obviously he's very nefarious. But I think part of why the Grisha became the Second Army and why they were revered so much and, raised above kind of ordinary people was to protect them from bigotry and hatred that was being put on them and being hunted, because there were instances of that, like there always are when people are different in societies. But that isn't a long-term solution. All that solution does is keep the rift, keep the divide, and keep the two sides at odds with each other, making something like this with the people turning against Grisha inevitable. So yes, the Darkling is up to no good, up to some shady shenanigans, but I am not surprised. I do like that we get to see this, because obviously in the book you very much are with Alina the whole time, and the Darkling is just, is he alive or not? He's rumbling around in the distance. It's very ominous to see his control over Grisha, to see how dismissive he is of them, and how some of them look at him and they're like, maybe he's not what I thought he was, whereas others look at him and they're like, oh my god, that is the Darkling, I'm going to bow to him, General Kieran, my soulmate, my hero. I will call him the Darkling because in the book he is just the Darkling. But yeah, that is a name he gets given here, just they also call him General Kieran a lot, and I'm like, he's the Darkling. Okay, this show is phenomenal. I cannot wait for the rest of it. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.